You guys really want to do an artifact one too? Fine. Artifact tier list. Okay, so let's start this out right. What's up, YouTube? Tristan Wolf here, bringing you another tier list video for the summer anniversary event. We're going to be going over the artifacts. That's right, artifact tier list. We've already removed all of the artifacts that are not available for summons. You will not be able to get any of the limited, collaboration, or special artifacts, things like you would pick up from your guild, for example. Can't get any of those, and you're not going to be able to pick up Crow or Robin's artifact either, because they are locked out of the selectors. So let's go over it. Now we're going to frame this tier list a little bit different. Instead of saying this artifact the best and this artifact's the other best, we're going to be saying these are artifacts that you want multiples of. So our top tier is artifacts that you really can just not ever have enough of this artifact. 5 or more would be great. And then artifacts that you only really need 3 or 4 of them, right? That would be ideal. As many as you can get, but you don't really need more than that. And then, 2 to 3 do it, right? Artifacts that it's good to have a dupe, maybe even 3, but beyond that, not big deal. And then artifacts that are important, but only really important for 1 unit. You only really just need 1 artifact. And then the artifacts that just need buffs. This is where we're going to put the artifacts that you save for buffs down the road, because I want to stress this. Don't ever powder a 5-star artifact. There's no 5-star artifact that is so bad that it's worth powdering. One of the best examples is Alexa's Basket. When Alexa's Basket was first released, it was the crappiest piece of junk ever, and everyone powdered copies of it just to buy better artifacts. And then they buffed Alexa's Basket, and it became the most important artifact in the game for about 3 years. Now it's still very good, but its values dropped down quite a bit. But it's a great example of why you don't throw away 5-star artifacts, because what's trash now could be treasure next month. Smilegate does balance patches every 8 weeks, and those balance patches have artifacts on it, and sometimes crazy things happen to artifacts. So always hang on to at least 1 copy of each 5-star artifact. So let's go through these, and since we talked about Alexa's Basket, we'll start there. Alexa's Basket is one of those artifacts that's really, really good on thieves, but there are so many decent thief artifacts out there. You rarely need more than rarely need more than 2 or 3 of this artifact. So we're going to put it right here. It's a good one to have, 2 or 3 tops. Little Queen's Huge Crown is a good solid artifact. It's underestimated. It gives you a good amount of damage, especially when barriers are present. Lets you do tremendous damage into barrier units, and barriers are legion. They are everywhere. But you don't really, it's a warrior artifact, and warriors have some of the best artifacts in the game. So usually you go with other stuff. I think you just hang on to 1 of them. Abyssal Crown, there was a time when you only needed 2 to 3 Abyssal Crowns. Some people will say 3 to 4 is more ideal, but I think 3 is plenty. I think 3 is plenty on this one. Surface to air missile is... We got all excited about this. This is one of the first artifacts that had penetrating evasion built into its kit. So if you watch a lot of older tier lists, it's going to rate this thing a lot higher. Now I don't even think you need 1. I think there are just better artifacts than MISHA. I think it just needs buffed. I don't think you chase it at all, guys. Alabastron, you just want 1. It only goes on haste. It's a nice artifact. It's usable. The effectiveness boost alone lets you build a higher damage haste, lets you get some things done. It does give debuffs, but it is a PvE artifact. You're not going to really use it anywhere except on haste, and maybe not even on him. Alencinox's Wrath is, just 1 of them is nice. It's really good on Alencinox, but that's about it. I don't really think Alencinox needs to be buffed. I think it's solid for what it does. An Offer You Can't Refuse is a very good artifact, but you only need 1 of them. I've got 2, and I'm only using 1 of them. Ancient Dragon's Legacy needs a buff. It's not really used anywhere. Some people slap it on Mort. Some people slap it on a Brieg, but I think there are better options for both of those. I tell you what, let me rephrase this. Needs a buff. How about we change this to keep 1 till it's... Keep 1 till it is buffed. Does that make more sense to you? Because that's really what it comes down to. They're 5-star artifacts. You always hang on to it. This is where you actually want 1. Somebody can use it. This is where you just keep 1, hoping it'll get buffed someday. Bastion of Perlutia. I think you only need 1 of these. It's very good. If you wind up with a second one that's luxury, I don't think it's that important. Beguiling Wings, nobody uses this. It needs a buff. Bird's Eye View, you want one of them. There are some niche situations where a second one is nice, but they're few and far between. Black Hand of the Goddess is a nice stat stick. You'll be surprised, especially early games, how many places you're going to be happy that you got a Black Hand of the Goddess. Bloodstone, ideally 2, just so you don't have to keep moving gear around. You can get away with just 1, but 2 of them makes it a lot more comfortable. Oh, and I guess I should specify this since we're early into this tier list. What I'm saying is this, you get 2 of them. You get 2 to 3 of them to plus 15, and then you start working on them and getting it to plus 30. Few exceptions, but that's the general rule of thumb. If I say get 3 of these artifacts, I mean you get 3 of these artifacts, you plus 15 them, and then you start working on getting them to plus 30. Start maxing them out after that, because having the artifact at plus 15 on 2 units is better than having the artifact at plus 30 on 1 unit, and the other unit is unusable because you don't have the artifact. Handful of exceptions. We'll go ahead and pull it out. Holy Sacrifice. This is an artifact where, unlike other artifacts, if it doesn't proc, you maybe just do less damage. If it doesn't proc, maybe you take more damage. If it doesn't proc, you don't get a buff. That's big. That's okay, but at least you're still in the fight. This is one where if it doesn't proc, you stay dead. This is one where if it's not plus 30, you're really hurting yourself. So I would not go for 2 plus 15s. I would go for a plus 30 and then pick up a second one. Savvy? I think it's better to have 1 plus 30 Holy Sack than 2 plus 15 Holy Sacks, but that's just me. Maybe you're a gambler and a 75% chance to come back to life is worth it to you. You make that decision. And also 2 to 3 does it for Holy Sack for sure. Bloody Rose, you know what? It's good here and there. You only really need 1 of them. Border Coin really needs a buff. People are like, no, Border Coin is great. No, it's really not. It's really not. Who uses it? Who uses Border Coin? Conqueror Lilius? Not really. Better artifacts on her. Sirmia? Not really. Better artifacts on her. It needs a buff because there are just other artifacts, many of which are 4-star, that I will use in place of it. Broken Will of the Priest. Is this used anywhere? I mean, the fact that I don't have it and I don't miss it makes me think I don't care. It's defense pen and hit chance for a knight. I'm still struggling to care. Does anybody argue with keeping it until it's buffed? Anybody want to talk me out of it? Because I'm leaving it here. People use it on Fire Lilius. It's good on Mort for damage. You guys keep, like, saying things that don't make sense, so I'm moving on. Celestine is a good artifact. I think you want 2 or 3 of them. Celestine is one that you could easily run 2 at plus 15 and then max it up to 30. Is a great example of a 2 to 3 does it artifact. Circus Fantasia, you just want 1 of them. Cradle of Life is god awful. This is a terrible. This was one that we all used it on Conqueror Lilius, and then we thought that they actually nerfed it when they buffed it, and now it's still really good. I would use this on Sea Lilies before I'd use Border Coin. Creation and Destruction. Oh my god. Freaking buff this artifact, Smilegate. People are like, no, Strays is good on Creation and Destruction. No, he's not. When it works, it's funny, but saying he's good on it, that's wild. That is wild. Creation and Destruction is the pinnacle of the Gamba, and anybody that tells you it's a good artifact is don't play poker with that person. They're too good at lying. Crimson Moon of Nightmares is a fun artifact. The extra dual attacks is nice, but it really doesn't have that much of a use. It was a short period of time where it was meta on a Spectre Tenebria, but just not anymore. It's bad. Glory, Crown of Glory is an annoying artifact for anti-cleave. You want to slap this on an anti-cleave unit, especially if you're wanting to run Bossarunka. Crown of Glory is one of the big 3. Crown of Glory, Arius, and Bastion that give plus 10% defense. So you can actually stack those 3 debuffs and give 30% defense buff to your Bossarunka if you really want to be an absolute monster. Dark Bloodkeeper's good. You only really need 1 of them. Dignus Orb really needs a buff. It's not that good. Doctor's Bag is a solid healy artifact. There was a time when I think you wanted 2 of it. I'm not so sure you really need 2 of them anymore. You want one on Elena, and who else that's actually played nowadays? Moon Bunny? Sure. Okay, you know what? I'll leave it in 2, just so you can have it on Moon Bunny as well, but it really, 1 is almost enough. There are other artifacts you could put on Moon Bunny. Double Edge Crescent. You only really need 1 of these guys. You only need 1. We all thought this was going to be used everywhere, and it's just not. Durandal. There was a time when 2 Durandals was really, really good, and that time was before Rift, when everybody wanted to farm Wyvern. I think 1 is enough now. Dux Noctis 1 is definitely enough. Okay, we've got our first one, guys. Elbris Ritual Sword. Boop. I just don't think you can ever have enough Elbrises, Elbri. Some people might say 4 is enough, but I think this is one of those artifacts that is just, to be future-proof, you keep wanting them. Every time a new damage-dealing knight comes out, there's a new user for Elbris. Elegiac Candle, you only need 1 of. The defense break's nice, but it's inconsistent. There's better ranger artifacts. Ettica Scepter is one that I think you want 2 of. There's plenty of uses for Etticas in PvE, and if you hate moving artifacts around as much as I do, you'll want 2, maybe even 3 Etticas. Glow Wings needs a buff. It's not a good artifact. Goblet of Oath kind of needs a buff. You can use it on Peyra, and maybe Ran, but there's better options. Golden Rose is one that you want 3 or 4 of, and I'm going to get some people arguing with me on this one. I can see the comments now. No, you need 10 billion Golden Roses, Tristan. You crazy, best artifact in the game. No, guys, it's good, but it's not great. The mate for Golden Rose is... Let me pull it out of order here. Golden Rose and Sigurd's Scythe are 2 sides of the same coin. Here's the big difference. Golden Rose just heals you. Sigurd's heals you and boosts your attack. Golden Rose heals you and boosts your damage. So attack scaling units love Sigurd's. Defense and HP scaling units love Golden Rose. You want to run an Edward Elric, Golden Rose. You want to run a Lionheart Sirmia, Golden Rose. You want to run a Designer Lilibet, Golden Rose. They're all HP and defense scaling. You want to run a nuking unit, Lone Crescent Bologna, Sigurd's Scythe. There are some other subtle differences between the 2, but there are way more attack scaling warriors than there are HP scaling warriors. So you only really need 3 to 4 Golden Roses. You'll never have enough Sigurd Scythes. Okay? And that's the main difference between the 2, is there just aren't that many HP and defense scaling warriors out there compared to attack scaling warriors. Now remember, it doesn't mean that these are the ones you use your tickets on. I'm just saying these are ones you want multiples of, and when you look at your inventory, you got to ask yourself, do I want to pick up a second Sigurd's, or do I get my first Durandal? Do I want to pick up my second Bloodstone, or do I want to pick up my 4th Sigurd's? And you've got to look at your units and decide where you are being held back. And does picking up this, in a perfect world, picking up an artifact, does picking up this artifact make this unit more playable? Does this unit who is on the bench and unplayable suddenly get added to my roster because I've got the artifact that enables them? And that's when you look at this. That's what makes the decision of, do I get my 3rd Golden Rose or my 4th Sigurd Scythe? Do I get my 2nd Holy Sack or my 3rd Abyssal Crown? Does it allow you to suddenly play a unit who before was stuck on the bench because they were missing an artifact? And that is very account specific, and that is what lets you decide what is the best pick. I'm not showing you what is the best options. I'm just showing you how many of you should have. Because unlike units, artifacts are all niche. They're class specific, and many times they're unit specific. And there's no way you're going to tell me that, for example, Bird's Eye is a worse artifact than Sigurd's Scythe. Without Bird's Eye, Frida's usefulness in Debellion is 0. It's required for her to be enabled. Whereas Sigurd's Scythe, that's going to let me heal up, but maybe I could just run lifesteal, make it run damage. But am I saying you should pick up a second Bird's Eye and start imprinting it when you don't have any Sigurd's Scythe? Hell no. You got to look at your account and focus on the needs that you have. And unfortunately, that is so account specific that I can't just drop a tier list and answer that for you. I'm more than happy to go over it with you. If you want to join my Discord, link in the description of the video, shoot me a DM and say, here's the units I got, here's the artifacts I got, what do you recommend? And I'll pull some artifacts out of my butt and throw them right at you, and you can say thank you and move on with life. But everybody's kind of got to find their own way on this. Okay. Homage to Taraman is terrible. This was their attempt to replace Guardian Ice Crystal. Attempt failed. Buff this. Buff this. All you got to do, Smilegate, is give this the exact same description as Guardian Ice Crystal and move on. Idol's Cheer, once upon a time, was insane. You only really need one of them now. You don't even really need one of them, but I think one of them's good to have. Indestructible Gaiters is a nice one to have one of. It's good on Holiday Euphine. It is good on Inferno Kawazu, but I wouldn't recommend pulling two of them just to satisfy both of those units. They're both kind of niche. Seems like a waste of a selector to me. This is only really good on Biblis, and Biblis isn't really used that much. Justice for All really just kind of needs a buff. It's kind of all right. It ain't all that. Knowledge Seed is for people who don't get invited to parties. People who, when they walk into the circle, everyone stops talking. If you're that kind of person, Knowledge Seed's for you. This is the most troll artifact where if your unit wearing Knowledge Seed dies, all the enemy get debuffs. Dick move. And you only really need one of it. You don't really even need any of it, but the last thing I'm going to do is tell Smilegate to buff Knowledge Seed. Ugh. You only need one of those. Last tea time. I think Sputnik was doing some crazy things with Last Tea Time. I still think it needs a buff. I just don't think it's a useful enough artifact to warrant its space on the mage list. Mage is already... It's so hard to replace mage artifacts. Manica of Control is right there beside Black Hand of the Goddess. It's a nice stat stick. It can help you get your thieves where you need them to be if you're a little bit behind on your stats. Merciless Gluteon, you only need one of. It's a really nice damage dealing artifact, but again, it's a warrior artifact, and warriors are so stacked. It's tough to slot it in when there's other options. Noble Oath needs a buff. Let's be real. There's only one use for Noble Oath in the game right now, and that is on Bossarunka, and that's an incredibly niche use. She's just simply better on 3 or 4 other artifacts. I guess I'll leave it up here. No, you don't want one because nobody uses it, right? It's Bossarunka and Fighter Maya. Nobody uses this artifact. It needs a buff to be usable. The only exception is a very, very niche build, so I'll put it at the top, right? Put it right here. It's a very niche use for Bossarunka and a very, very, very I didn't get Rocket Punch or Mother of All Scams niche use for Ikarena from the Espa collab. That's it. Got no other unuses in the game. If you've got Ikarena and no Rocket Punch and no Moas and you actually like using her, no, I'm sorry. I'm leaving it down there. Otherworldly Machine you get for free, and you only need the one that you get for free. Pure White Trust. This is one of those niche artifacts that every time I say you don't need it, I find a use for it. Does anybody use Pure White Trust reliably enough that I don't just stick it down here? I think you just keep it until it gets buffed, guys. I don't think Pure White Trust is really all that. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm kind of saying it's bad. I'm just saying you will find better options in almost every case. Renewed Will of the Priest. Whose is this? Oh, this is Fenris's artifact. I heard this is good. You found the other artifact that I don't own, but I've heard it's good. Fenris Arty, you want 2? Good for Litica. Cleaver item. Oh, hell. Okay, maybe I'm selecting this bad boy then. Briar Litica, plus 30 Arty. Whew. Okay, good to know. Good to know. Rhianna and Luciella. Recently nerfed, but still usable. I think one of the best uses for this artifact right now is on Renak. It used to be best in slot on Ran. I think it's fallen by the wayside a little bit. I'm still going to leave it in the 2 column. I think 2 of this artifact's nice to have. Even though it was buffed, it's still really, or nerfed, it's still really good. Rise of the Monarch. You only need one of these. It's a good artifact. It's a good solid artifact, but you don't really need multiples of it. Rod of Amaryllis. Again, you only need one of them. Rod of Amaryllis is in that same category with Uberous Tooth. It's a orphaned artifact that doesn't exist on any banners. Wukong's Bang. What do you guys think about Wukong's Bang? Do we even want one? Do we care about Wukong's Bang? Is it best on slot on Wukong? We just get one of those. Sacred Tree Branch, you only need one of. It's really only used by Dragon King Sharoon. Samsara Prayer Beads is just crappier Proof of Valor. Let's go ahead and ask Smilegate to please buff that. Scroll of Shadows is Arya's artifact, and I don't think anybody uses it. We'll ask for a buff on that one. Secret Art Stormsword, I think you want 3 to 4. I think you want 3 to 4 Secret Art Stormswords. Every time, it's almost to the point where you almost want 5 of it. It is such a stupid strong artifact. It's not just for Selene anymore. Shepherd of the Hollow, do we only want 1 or do we want 2 Shepherds? It's a premier evasion artifact in a time when evasion's not super strong anymore. I'm going to leave it in 2 because the units who want it need it. And if you want to run more than one of those units, I think we'll leave it in the 2 column. Shimadra Staff, you only really need 1 Shimadra Staff. 2 is luxury. Snow Crystal. There was a time when Snow Crystal was amazing, but now I again, warrior artifacts are so damn good. I'm not sure we even care about having one of these. Would it be so terrible if we buffed Snow Crystal? Do you think, guys, would it be so terrible if Snow Crystal was buffed? I don't think it would be. I'm going to put it down, keep 1 till buffed. Song of Stars, you get 1 for free. And there was a time when 2 was really nice, but 2 is super luxury. You only need 1, and like Otherworldly, you'll get it for free, if I'm not mistaken. Spatiotemporal Fan, you only really need 1. Spear of Purification. There are some niche situations where 2 would be useful on this, but both of the units where this would be useful, I think, more commonly use other artifacts. So I'm just going to say 1 for right now. Though some of you out there be like, no, I want to have this on multiple units and ruin people's lives. You do you, man. You want to put this on your Laia and on your ML Peyra and stick it on Teu too and just ruin people, and then stick this on your Thief. Go with God. Spear of a New Dawn needs a buff. It's just not good anymore. It's really only good on Summer Charlotte and on Senya, and neither of those are real units anymore. Sphere of Inferno needs a significant buff. It doesn't do anything. Sphere of Sadism needs a buff. It does minimal stuff. Spirit's Breath, there's really no uses for Spirit's Breath in the game since they nerfed it out of the game. Didn't they only change Alots, which... There's only... Yeah, that's true. That's true. I digress. Alots was the only unit that used this. Now the only places for this anymore are on occasional use on Ice Lulica for certain PvE, and for use on Angel of Light Angelica for people that don't have Ettica Scepter, which is just objectively better. That's pretty much it. I still think it just... Maybe it doesn't need a buff, but it has no real use in the game. I certainly wouldn't select one anymore. Stella Harpa, I think you only really need 1 of it. Having 2 is nice, but you only really need 1 Stella. It's best in slot on Green Rowana. Sword of Autumn Eclipse needs a buff. This Sword of Autumn Eclipse reminds me of the warrior version of MISHA, right? It's an artifact that has penetrate evasion, and it's just not that important anymore. Sword of Judgment, one of the worst artifacts in the game. Buff this, Smilegate. Sword of Summer Twilight's really good, but you only need 1. This is a nice penetration artifact. Really good on Vildred, good on damage-dealing thieves, hard nerfed by the existence of Empyrean Ilanov. Sword of Winter Shadow, I think kind of needs a buff. It's a nice stat stick, but it doesn't do a lot. Time Matter, go ahead and pick up 1. It's best in slot for Vivian in so many things. There was a time when I said you wanted 2 of these, but really 1's enough. Touch of Rekos. It is predominantly only used in PvE, and you don't really ever put more than 1 on a team, so I think 1's enough. I do think 1's enough. Twilight Calamity is, Needs a buff. It's just bad. It's bad. Tyrants Descent, man, it looks so good on paper, and it masks out to be such trash. The only place you think this would be good is in Rift because of the stacking debuffs, but because of the multiplicative way or nature of how damage boosting applies, it just doesn't do nearly as much as boss smashing artifacts do. So yeah, it keep it until it gets buffed. It's not good. Uberous Tooth. Holy crap. Do we need 2 or 3 teeth now? Do we need 2 or 3 teeth? Let's see. There's a Miki. There's Peyra. There's Hua Young. There's New Hua Young. No, not New Hua Young. It's Peyra, Hua Young. I think 3. I think 3 Uberi is good. You might argue and say you only really need 2 to 3, but I think 3. I think we got Uberous up here. I think there's enough uses for it. Umbral Keystone is a nice niche artifact that you can use in building some Guild War and Arena offenses. You're not going to find uses really anywhere else. Unseen Observer is one that I think you want a couple of. It gives Rangers the ability to generate souls, and the nice thing about this is it works at plus 15, just as good as it works at plus 30, so you can literally get 3 plus 15s of these things. You'll be in good shape. Violet's Talisman is trash. You don't want any of these. Wind Rider, I don't think you can have enough Wind Riders. It's hands down the best thief artifact in the game. Now, Hua Young's new limited artifact's given it a little bit of competition, but I still think in almost every case, Wind Rider is going to be better for you. It's just so damn good. And Light and Shadow. No, this one's just bad. You could use it on Mort, and that's about it. There you go, guys. Where's Fene's artifact? Neck. Oh, my bad. Sorry, guys. I somehow missed Fene's artifact. And last would be Fene's artifact is terrible. It needs a buff. There you go, guys. Once again, I remind you to look at this list as a guide for whether or not you keep multiples of an artifact. Not as a guide on which one's the most important for you to pick. The most important artifact for you to pick is the one that facilitates your account. If you have got the most banging Janua out there, but you keep losing because you don't have Wind Rider, well, there you go. If you have a Mort and you're tired of Mort not coming back to life, well, grab yourself a Holy Sack and get with the meta. It's not the best artifacts and the worst artifacts. This is not S, A, B, C. This is all A-tier artifacts. Just how many of them you want. If you've already got 5 Sigurd's Scythe is no longer an important artifact for you to pull more of. Go after some of these artifacts down here that you could find uses, but look at them and make sure you could find uses. Make sure you have uses for it. Touch of Rekos, Violet Talisman. Touch of Rekos is a crazy good artifact. It's only really used in PvE. Same with Time Matter. Sword of Summer Twice, really only used in PvP. Rod of Amaryllis behaves very differently from Offer You Can't Refuse. So you've really got to ask yourself, what do these artifacts do for me that I would want them on my account? Do I want the anti-cleave, soul-stealing nature of Crown of Glory? Do I want this defense buff to help my boss Arunca? Do I have a knight that could use this? Go for it. Is my Song of Stars plus 27 and I'm tired of missing targets? So you pick up the last one, make it plus 30. You got to figure out which artifacts are needed for your account. Look at the units you have, and one of the best ways you can look at the units you have is to go into your unit and you click on this little sword and shield icon down here, and you click on the View Statistics button. You bring up this page, and on the View Statistics button, you click on Artifacts, and it shows you 57% of players are running her on Goblet of Oath. Another 10% are running her on RNL. Can you see that? And the rest are running her on Alabastron. So if you want to run a Peyra, you probably want a Goblet of Oath. If you plan on building and using Peyra, maybe that's who you pick up. Or maybe that's what you pick up from your selector. Damn, Peyra looks good. So that's it, guys. That's my tier list. Hopefully it helped you guys out a little bit. Thanks to chat for helping put this together and strong-arming me into doing it. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and you guys have a great rest of your week. Take care, Epic 7.